As we broadcast today from the Holiday Art Mart at the Anderson Enrichment Center. It goes on till 5 o'clock tonight. We'll tell you more about it. Our broadcast sponsored by our friends at Wohlfeils, 5818 State Street in Saginaw. And this hour, we are awaiting a call from State Representative Amos O'Neill, and as soon as we hear from him, we will chat with him about end-of-year state issues and things. That's what's coming up. But in the meantime, we'll take this opportunity to tell you about the Anderson Enrichment Center and the Holiday Art Mart in its, we figured about the 33rd year, something like that. It's an art fair. It's a Christmas cafe and bake shop, fresh holly sale, which they're big bags for $12, and silent auction going on. Lots of vendors with all kinds of holiday crafts. The pen guy is here with his fabulous pens made out of some pretty exotic woods and things, shipwreck wood and stuff like that. And we invite you to stop out. It goes on till 5 o'clock today here at the Anderson Enrichment Center. As I mentioned, our broadcast sponsored by Wohlfeils, 5818 State Street in Saginaw. With the snow outside, you might want to take advantage of a sale they have going on Aaron's snowblowers. And deluxe models, you can save $100, but it ends today. Today's the last day. It's called the Heroes at Holiday Sales Event at Wohlfeils for Aaron's. And their lineup of all-steel construction, built to last. Auto-turn steering makes it easy to maneuver. So this winter, let the king of snow clear the way and get an Aaron's Deluxe and save $100 today at Wohlfeils, 5818 State Street in Saginaw. See the whole lineup of Aaron's snowblowers at Wohlfeils Ace Hardware. Do it today. Remember, they service what they sell. And we say good morning to State Representative Amos O'Neill. Representative O'Neill, good morning to you.
Good morning, Art. How are you doing?
Hey, we're doing well. We're doing very well. As a matter of fact, it's a busy place where I'm sitting here at the Anderson Enrichment Center this morning. So let's talk about the fact that the state budget was finally put to bed a couple of months ago.
Yep.
We're coming up on the end of the year. As we look at 2026, what are going to be the major issues in the state of Michigan?
Well, really was fortunate enough to budget done in a bipartisan fashion, as you said. Coming up into the new year, I'm thinking we'll be setting priorities probably in January. Hopefully we can start our budget process then to start to build that out and work toward that July 1st. I was just at a Michigan Railroad Association meeting this morning. That was my reason for driving down to Lansing. And we were talking about just the whole economics of the industry and other businesses. And so I know the governor and her team mentioned something about economic development yesterday. And looking at our region with Dow and Hemlock Semiconductor, I think we really got to be smart about this. And my friend Senator Horn again, how do we keep and retain talent in Michigan? And that was a part of the discussion this morning. How do we keep people? And so we got to think smart. What are those attractions and amenities that young people look for in terms of community? And we got to fix that. And so I hope we can have a robust team of people, a contingency from our Great Lakes Bay region to start to work really aggressively on that topic. That would be my focus.
I'm interested in the fact that you were at the railroad meeting this morning. I am a train fan. I have been all my life, and I just came back from a 2-week trip out west on Amtrak, which started in Ann Arbor. And people, I don't know if people realize how blessed we are in this state, where the state supports the Michigan service of Amtrak and has, aside from the Northeast Corridor, some of the highest ridership in the country on our Michigan trains.
Exactly. And you think about just the investments we've made in rail. I mentioned this morning to the members that were there, but we invested $1.2 billion in the railroad industry to in our supply chain and for different jobs and economic growth. So we got major investments in that. And the Saginaw region is one of the oldest regions, with our Lake State rail line, with the Potter Street Station being right there. Saginaw used to be the place where all the freight came for places like Midland and Dow to get their freight. And so now there's discussion about, like with Hemlock, they don't have a rail line coming right into that facility. And so we talked about that this morning. That came up. I said, well, I have to get back with my colleagues and see if we can entertain another startup conversation about that. So economic development are in getting our folks together to say, how do we create a platform or an offering that will keep and retain and grow our community?
Yeah. And rail passenger, there was talk of running a line from Detroit north.
Yes.
I don't know if it was going to go all the way to Traverse City or not, but the downside was it was going to bypass Saginaw.
Right,
we would have liked to have seen it come here, but
exactly.
It's something that's in the discussion stage. So I mean, it's always good to hear people talking about it.
Yes, that's good. And they really talked about, Saginaw region. When I say Saginaw, I'm referencing the Great Lakes Bay region.
Right.
We have a lot going for ourselves, and a lot of times we don't give ourselves a pat on the back enough, or toot our own horn enough ourselves. And so we got to do that. We got to do that in conjunction with trying to find out what are those amenities that our young people want to have when they look at community, and what can we do to put those in place. And so, we got to get everybody on board for that, because it benefits all of us. What's good for the region is good for us all. I say that all the time, and I mean it. And I also said this morning in our wrap-up conversation with the rail line owners and operators that they talked about the upcoming elections. I said, well, this is my attitude, and it's been that way for forever since I've been in politics. It doesn't matter who's in office. You got to have people who are willing to have conversations that may be uncomfortable and still have civility during the process. That's so important, Art.
Well, and in the end, I mean, it's a matter of coming up with legislation that's good for the state of Michigan and the region you represent, no matter which side of the aisle it is. I mean, that really is that's the critical component.
That's the key. But if you're not talking, you can't come up with anything. Yep. And so the emphasis is we have to talk. We have to communicate. And so, I think, that's a important element in all of our landscape of political theater, is whether you're a Democrat, Republican, or independent, you've got to be willing to talk. Here's a case in point. We just had a ribbon cutting event at the Sherwood Pool the other day. And so we were talking about the impact of that Sherwood Pool to the families, not only in the region, but across the state. And so, it's good for the region. And that was a wonderful experience. We had a lot of our stakeholders there, and just citizens who had benefited. People had met at Sherwood Pool as young adults and got married and had families. And so those are the kind of amenities that people want in their communities, Art.
Yep.
That's just an example of what I'm talking about. We got to do what's best for people in the region, and the rest will take care of itself.
Well, it's, it's refreshing to hear somebody say that in government, because it seems all we hear are the negatives day in and day out, and don't realize there are a lot of discussions going on behind the scenes that we never hear about. And that's an important part. All right, listen, we're going to take a break, Amos, and we will be back in a few minutes. So hang in there with us, if you will. We are here at the Anderson Enrichment Center, where, of course, the Holiday Art Mart is taking place. And they have plenty of holly. They got the truck in, and it's $12 a bag. And it's a big bag. I didn't realize how big the bag was. I went out and looked. You get a lot of holly for your $12. So this is the place to be today. I'll tell you, it's happening. There's a lot of people here, and it's free to get in, by the way. You just pay for what you buy. And otherwise, you can enjoy the show, walk around, and see all the things happening right here at the Anderson Enrichment Center, 120 Ezra Russ Drive in Saginaw. Stop out, see your friends, and you'll find a lot of them here because it's a busy, busy place this morning. I'm Art Lewis. We're going to take a break, and then we will be back with lots more with State Representative Amos O'Neill. It all happens right after these messages.
Pat's Food Center in Freeland has a...
I think that's the first step. And, again, I keep using Senator Horn as my example because he's really started this conversation. We got to answer those questions. I know there was a request for funding in the budget, this last budget, and it didn't make it. I'm sure that was disappointing to a lot of us because we need to have some skin in the game, if you will, when you talk about investing in the future. And no better time to do it than now in terms of planning. We made major investments in the SOAR and site readiness and stuff like that as a means to try to attract and retain businesses. Okay, we got to do something similar. It may not have a price like we've used to find out what are those amenities. We got art. We have a great arts and culture platform already. We have great universities in our community. We have great hospitals in our communities. We have great parks in our community. We just reopened the area of the former Malleable Iron with our County Parks Association with Brian Lecco. So we got the riverfront. We got the Diamond Project we're working on. So there are a lot of amenities we have. Again, going back to the fact that we got to give ourselves some credit, and really we have to be our best cheerleaders, if you will. All of us have to talk about Saginaw as a great place to live, work, and play in the Great Lakes Bay region. And so, back in some years ago, Herb Spence started this Image Alliance Committee. I talked about this before. And the Image Alliance Committee sole purpose was to change our image of who we are and then imagine us being better. I'm telling you, we have to do that like every day. Negative energy begets negative energy. Positive energy and positive dialogue and optimism gets that. And so you got to have people around the table that can fuel that fire, if you will. Not saying you won't have any disagreements, which is okay, but let's move forward, even with those disagreements, to reach a common goal that's good for us all in terms of keeping and retaining talent, to grow our population, and which is going to spearhead business growth and development.
All right, so let's do a what if. We look at Saginaw. We'd like to see the population grow. We want to get it above 50,000 again for sure. And let's say you get industry that wants to come in and set up shop. Where are you going to house these people? This is a big sticking point, isn't it?
That's another big conversation. We even had that conversation with the Michigan Railroad Association because they were talking about expanding in different locations. And housing is a major issue across the country, not only in Michigan. And they talked about Airbnbs, individuals from outside of, the country and the state buying up property and have a lock on it. And then you have issues where you can't have access to property. And then the cost of buying a property is so high now, supply and demand. Right now, it's a high demand, so supply is short. So what happens? The prices are higher. So how do we diversify? We have to have a diversified housing platform, mixed use housing, different levels of housing, because everybody can't afford $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 house. And so we got to be realistic. We got to work towards that end. Our congresswoman just brought money in from the feds to our rescue mission, our housing platform, a couple $1 million, which is going to go a long way. But we gotta build I'm going to say low income, modest income housing for the middle class. You know, I live in an area in the Saginaw area. When I bought my house, my kids were little, and I think I paid, I don't know, $40,000. That was way. I was in my 20s. Okay, think about that now. Can you buy a house for $40,000 now? Heck no. You can buy something you can rehab, which is okay too.
Spend another 100 or 200 on it, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But we gotta think outside the box. You know, we got mobile units that are really state of the art. I've seen some. I was blown away. The typical mobile units that we sort of imagined yesteryear, they're not the same.
Yeah.
So we're in discussion with different groups, even on that platform, Art. So it's a lot of work to do, and there's enough challenge for all of us to be around the table to work on those challenges for the good of Saginaw and the Great Lakes Bay region. That's my attitude. My optimistic is moving forward toward the new year, and we got to hit the ground running on things that really matter to the most people, and for our region to grow. Art. That's my attitude. That's what I'm taking into the new year.
Well, and listen, nothing happens without that positive attitude. I think we all have to have that positive attitude to see our way clear to get things done. What worries me is if you look at the cost of building today. You used to be able to build for $75 or $100 a square. Now it's $300 a square, and it almost prohibits building a starter home. It
does. That's why we have to be diversified.
Yep.
You know,
all right.
We have a lot of property just sitting.
Let me interrupt. I got to take a break.
Okay.
And we will be right back with State Representative Amos O'Neill.
Shop and save and...
And we're back with you here at the Anderson and Richmond Center for the Holiday Art Mart going on till 5 o'clock today. We'll tell you more about that in a little bit. And we're talking to State Representative Amos O'Neill. And Amos, as you look ahead to 2026, and I know you're an optimistic person, but are you optimistic about the state and the budget and the future of the state?
I am, Art. You know, we talked about that this morning. That question came up from the Michigan Railroad Association. They asked, what do you think, how the budget set process is going to go? Do you hope it goes better? And they asked, was it a problem for you? I said, well, yeah, it was a problem because there's so many people and organizations and businesses depend on us to get the job done July 1 and then work through the end to make sure it's signed, sealed, and delivered October 1st so we can run the government. I said, I hope we go through the process that has been traditional with hundreds of legislative bodies in the past to start early. Actually, if you want to start early, typically we start in when we come back in January. We start, looking at our budget, looking at our different priorities, and having those committee hearings for those different appropriation chairs, and you start the process early. I think that was missing and before, and then we had a lot of time in between, and then towards the end we had to sort of fast track and try to create a budget for the state of Michigan over $80 billion in a short period of time. We got it done, but that's not the way to do it. And so, yes, I'm optimistic that we will get back on track with our leadership and start early in the process, and to make sure that we're funding those budget items that are so critical to our community. And just think about, we did a bipartisan budget at the last minute, and we didn't close the state. That was good. However, the long time that we put into it, late hours into the morning to get it done, it's hard to make good decisions when you're tired. You sort of been dragging through the weeks and long hours. That's not the way to do it. Let's plan our days. Let's operate under that mantra that you got to start early to plan, have your committees, have your subcommittees, and go through the process, and then you'll have time to deliberate in a bipartisan way to come up with an end result. So
do the midterm elections get in the way, being an election year?
Well, I don't think so, Art. I think everybody's mind is sort of past that now that it's been set and things are in motion. I think they had an event at Delta College just the other day. I wasn't there, but I saw some remnants of it afterwards. But even with that, February, with the special election, I'm talking 35th now.
Yeah, right.
And then in May, but the 2026 midterm, that's a lot of folks are thinking about that. But we still have to keep the doors open while that's going on. And so it's a part of the process. We know it's coming. It shouldn't be a surprise. One thing I've gotten from my locals around my region is, getting support to pay for some of this election activities, particularly the special election. And I told them I would try to work with my colleagues to find a remedy to support you, because those funds will be expended from those municipalities, and they don't have that money just sitting around just for that. So that's another thing we're working on right now.
Yeah, special elections cost money.
They do. Yes, sir.
And it's not usually a budget item because you don't know what's going to happen. So
it isn't. Exactly right. So,
one of those darned if you do, darned if you don't things,
Yeah. So. But again, those are, there are a lot of things that are unplanned. You just got to be flexible and nimble, to pivot to address those ongoing issues that will always happen. There's no silver bullet to anything. You can expect the best, but also look out for roadblocks and bumps in the road, and be flexible to try to deal with those.
Well, speaking of bumps in the road, are you happy the way the budget came down with road financing, and are the locals going to actually see that money?
Yes, actually, the locals are going to see it. There's been a list. If you haven't got a copy, you can get a copy for you to show you the local communities that are benefactors across the state. Our region's one. Also, one of my budgetary requests, our local Saginaw County Road Commission received some funds to help with amenities on their grounds to support the Saginaw County Road infrastructure, salt bins and shelters for their facilities. That was $1.2 million, somewhere in that range. And so I'm excited about that, in addition to the road funding that we got for the entire state.
Well, I mean, it was finally good to hear that the locals are going to get some money, because the local roads have suffered long enough.
Yes.
And we've all suffered driving them.
Yeah. And I think from here, I suggest, and I think many of my colleagues feel the same way, we have to build into this budget, or over a period of time, the infrastructure for the funding of road upkeep. It should have been done years ago. Hindsight is 20/20. But now that we've gotten here, we have to build in a formula that's going to help us sustain our roads for decades to come.
Well, it's the old, pay me now or pay me later. And when infrastructure goes bad, it costs a lot more to fix.
It does.
All right. Amos, hang on for one last segment, and then we will conclude. We're chatting with State Representative Amos O'Neill, and we will be back with him after these notes. Let me take a moment to talk about Krizak's House Family Restaurant up on the south end of Bay City, a great place for all of your food needs and all of your special needs for meals. If you have an organization or something, or you want to do a special luncheon for graduations and weddings, and you name the occasion, Krizak's is the place to go. And if you want to do it at home, you can order your food, Polish and American food, to take out and be the hero of the event, or just have the event there. Krizak's House Family Restaurant, they're located at Cass in Michigan on Bay City's south end. They've been there a long time. great reputation. If you haven't been to Krizak's, stop in, visit them soon. Krizak's House Family Restaurant. We'll be back.
Kapoco, powered by.
Tis the holiday season, Amos, so I wanted to give you a minute to let you express your holiday feelings to your constituents and those listening.
Well, Art, I was just thinking, like where you are at the holiday event. Our community is so generous. Just think about all the support that was given out to our region in different ways to different organizations during Thanksgiving, and just the resiliency of our community in general. And, we have a lot to be thankful for, just the giving attitude of our people. It's important that we keep that in focus. We all celebrate our holidays and with our families and friends, and it's very important that we think about other people. And I want to really just wish everyone a happy, Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. And always think about someone else. There's always someone else doing worse off than you are. And that sentiment, it means that think about other people during this season. We're fortunate. A lot of us are fortunate to have the means to take care of ourselves and help others. And I think that's important. That's the really spirit of the holiday season, to be generous in heart, loving and kind to people, and try to make somebody's day a little bit brighter. And so I want to encourage that and just say to my constituents, great holiday season, and be safe, and show a little love beyond your family.
Well, Amos, first of all, I echo what you've said. That's very, very nice. And I wish you and your family the best of the holiday seasons. Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. And I'm sure we'll be chatting in the new year, so we look forward to it. But, again, have a blessed holiday.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you. Thank you so much.
I will talk to you soon. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye now. State Representative Amos O'Neill, we thank him for joining us today. We are here at the Anderson Enrichment Center, courtesy of our friends at Wohlfeils, 5818 State Street. We'll tell you more about that in a moment. But here at the Holiday Art Mart, you will find giftable art and craft works by talented Michigan artists. At the art fair, the Christmas Cafe and Bake Shop is open. Fresh holly sale, $12 for a big bag of holly. And they have a silent auction going on with hundreds of things. I mean, it is a busy, busy place. It is packed. One of the reasons is it's free to get in, folks. All you spend is what you buy. You don't have any admission fee to pay. And the cafe sponsor is Jolt Credit Union. The whole thing is presented by Choice 1 and Century 21. It's an annual event here at the Anderson Enrichment Center, 120 Ezra Rusk Drive in Saginaw. You can always find out more online at artsaginaw.org. And as I mentioned, our broadcast sponsored by our friends at Wohlfeils, Ace Hardware. And if you look out the window, you'll see a lot of white stuff on the ground. One of the names associated with being able to control all that white stuff is Aaron's. And through today is the last day for what's called their Heroes and Holidays sales event. You can save $100 on select deluxe model snowblowers, best-selling models in the Aaron's lineup. Its durable all-steel construction means it's built to last. Features like auto-turn steering make it easy to maneuver. So this winter, let the king of snow clear the way. Get an Aaron's Deluxe and save $100 during the Heroes and Holidays sale. It ends today. Wohlfeils, 5818 State Street in Saginaw, where, remember, they service what they sell. We will take a couple of moments out here, be back to close out this hour, and tell you what's ahead on Focus.
We're proud to make
All right, and that'll do it for the Art Lewis Show for this hour. And we thank you for being with us. We'll be back tomorrow with lots more. Don't forget the holiday